The things they've always told me I had a problem with. I need to project.
Yeah.
Took a voice and diction class, and the guy never showed up.
Oh, you took voice and diction?
Yeah, with Professor Thomas. And for the first, no joke, 3 weeks of the class, he thought the class was canceled, and no one told him it wasn't. So, the first day of class, we were like, oh, okay, and there was like maybe 20 of us in the class. So we
Yeah.
would sign the attendance sheet, leave it on the desk. You would think, maybe after the first week, they would tell him, hey, Thomas, you have a class. No. So by like the second or third week, like we met twice a week,
Yeah.
we were getting annoyed. So we wrote on the board, Dear Professor Thomas, we were here. You were not loved the class.
I did the same thing when it came to a typing class, but they moved the class, they changed the time, never told any of us.
Yeah.
So it was like three of us, four of us. I think that's the only time I got an unofficial withdrawal. Like I just never showed up, so it ruined my GPA on
Yeah.
that one. Which it's kind of sad because it's not like I didn't know how to type.
Right.
I was just taking it anyway. But yeah. Oh, so we are recording, by the
Of
way.
course we are.
I love these cold openings. It always feels natural because we're just
We're just
shoot.
shooting the shit.
Yeah, exactly. And might as well shoot the shit for these
Shoot
things.
the shit.
So
Which,
welcome.
when you think about it, it's kind of disgusting shooting shit.
Could be worse.
It
I
could
mean,
be
it's.
worse.
I mean,
Shit could be shot at you.
exactly.
All right, do the intro. Let's go.
Welcome once again to the Dragoon's Lair podcast, everyone, where we're talking entertainment. It's a new year. We've got a lot of new things that are going to be coming down the pike. So join us right now as we discuss the upcoming movies we're looking forward to. I think we'll go month by month for this one, or at
Yeah.
least episode will, per episode will hit months.
Yeah.
But I am the Blue Dragoon himself, Daniel the Dragon, and with me is.
I'm King Hamster Pellet himself, Mike Schiavo.
That's right. And Mike, where can they find you outside of this wonderful show?
You can hit me up at Instagram, Hamster Pellet Productions. I have Facebook, Hamster Pellet Productions. Big shock. I am on the Ticking Talk. Also,
You got TikTok?
I have the Ticking Talk.
Oh, he got the Tiki Talk.
The Ticking. Not that I do much on it yet.
The clock overlords have grabbed a
Yes.
hold of you, huh?
Yes, I'm on the Tiki Talk. If I can find the app, I can tell you what my handle is.
It's not Hamster Pellet Productions?
No, it is. I don't know. They had to do something different because I don't know.
Too many of the same things?
Probably. I don't even freaking know. No, it is Hamster Pellet Productions on Ticking Talk.
On TikTok.
On Ticking. Ooh, I have 2 people following me too. Thank you. If you're out there, thank you. Call my mother or my sister.
Hey, listen, family following.
Family,
is-
hey, follow the followers, all right? It's 2 down and hundreds to go.
Yeah. So, yes, we are here. Did you have a good New Year's to start off?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I had some people over the house. Nothing too crazy. We, just bullshitted, watched the ball drop, watched the honeymooners, hung out.
Yeah, people can see the photo of you with your antlers.
Yes, I spread it out. Oh, if you want to check that out, come to one of our sites that we mentioned, and we'll mention again later, and you can see me with antlers on my head.
Yep. Unfortunately, mine was spent sleeping because I had to go to work.
Yeah.
It was so much fun, having a job. If this could be my real job, I would love this. But I need listeners.
We need followers, people.
Yeah.
Come on, follow.
Follow, like, subscribe, all those things. Find me on social media because Blue Dragoon 13 is everywhere.
Yeah.
Literally.
I will be making a Facebook page for the Dragoon.
Yep.
For
the Dragoon's Lair
the
podcast.
Dragoon Layers podcast. Yeah, I'll have to have them write it down because I keep fucking it up. I'll be making more social media accounts for the Dragoon's Lair podcast and everything else, and hopefully throw some video up of us just acting like assholes.
Yeah. We are recording these episodes for the most part, video wise, but it's not to my liking. So it's been a little difficult, and we're still trying to nail a few things down. And we would like to expand, but we're going to hold off on some of the expansions for now. But yeah,
we got plans, people. We got plans.
There are plans, but we need you to follow us so that this way we can follow through with them.
Yeah.
So yeah. So, did you watch anything recently over the holiday week? Because it's been a week
It's
since
been a
New Year's.
week. Actually, no. I've been running around. I've been doing a lot. Yeah, no. I was, just house shit, running around. Really haven't watched anything. I blinked and
Yeah.
the week was gone, and I'm like, shit.
Oh, I got caught up in a marathon that was playing for the old '90s show Step by Step.
Yeah,
I love
Patrick
that.
Duffy.
Oh, I love that show. It was so much fun back then, and watching some of the episodes again brought back so many wonderful memories.
Wasn't like the idiot stoner son? Isn't he like a martial artist or something like that?
Actually,
The
that's
guy's
the
name is
nephew, Sasha Mitchell,
Sasha Mitchell.
who played Cody.
Right.
And he was the
He was the
nephew.
nephew.
Yeah, so
Okay.
he wasn't one of the blended kids.
Okay. He wasn't
So
one of the updated Brady Bunch.
no, but the funny thing is, I think he worked with Patrick Duffy before that on Dallas.
Everybody was on Dallas. It was like the show to be on in the '80s.
Yeah, but no, but it was cool to see because then it was the introduction from me for Sasha Mitchell before all of a sudden then he starts showing up in all the Kickboxer sequels,
Yes.
or at least 2, 3, 4. When they got to 5, I think they switched over to Mark Dacascos. I think 5 was the point where Dacascos took over for a
Yeah.
lot of the martial arts movies back then. But love Mark Dacascos as
Yeah.
well.
Oh,
But it
he
was
did a great job. I liked him as the Crow
oh
in the
yeah
TV shows.
oh
Stairway to is
yeah
it Stairway to Heaven? The
yeah
Crow. Yeah.
the Crow Stairway to Heaven. He was a decent replacement
Yep.
because it wasn't Brandon Lee.
No,
But
but nobody can replace Brandon Lee. But
yeah,
he was a good. He was a good runner up.
yeah, he definitely helped out that show and gave it like some real credence when it came for
Hmm.
the martial arts stuff. It's been fun to follow Mark Dacascos' career because he's done so much stuff. Hosting, I think, like Iron Chef.
Well, I think it's his uncle was like the first Iron Chef out in like Japan.
Yeah,
Like
so
he started all that shit.
yeah, so him hosting the show is like
Yeah, it's
interesting.
bringing it full
Yeah.
circle.
So there's a lot of great stuff and the martial arts guys like they really kicked off, especially I feel like sometimes the sequels were better than the original
Mm,
because Kickboxer I was like, I like the first one, but Sasha Mitchell like
yeah,
you felt more connection to him
right.
in that one, and like even like Bloodsport where it was Daniel Breinhardt like taking over for the rest of
Well,
them.
wait, they made a sequel to Bloodsport?
Oh, there are many sequels to Bloodsport.
Really?
Yes.
I love cheesy '80s films. How the fuck did this fly under my
Oh,
radar?
they were direct to video. I don't know how you missed
I don't know
them.
how I missed it. Shit.
I will tell you, like one of my favorite stories was back when I was working when we had video stores. I worked for Saturday Matinee,
Yep.
which I'm there and a woman comes in. She's looking for a martial arts movie, and her description was priceless. She comes up and she's asking.
I
It's
want
like,
kicky slashy.
oh no, she was like, I'm looking for this movie where with the martial arts guy. It's got Jean-Claude Van Damme in it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna need you to be a little more specific. She's like,
He kicks.
he kicks this guy in the face, and I'm like, you've described every one of his movies. She's like, he fights this Asian guy in a tournament. I'm like, you're narrowing it down, but there's more than one of
Okay,
those.
now you're down to 2.
Yeah, I'm like, it was Bloodsport.
It was Blood.
It was Bloodsport, but at the same time, you're sitting there and you're just like, I'm like, you mean Bloodsport? It took poking and prodding. I knew what she was talking about immediately, but I kind of wanted to drag it out of her. That was more fun for me.
This past October at ChillerCon out in New Jersey, I actually met.
Oh, you mean Chiller Theater?
Yeah, I actually met Mr. Bolo Young.
Oh,
He was the one person that I said I had to meet. I mean, I looked at the
Oh, yeah.
I looked at the list who was there, and they're cool cats.
oh yeah.
But I was like
Bolo's
Bolo.
big.
I made as soon as we got there, I was like, Lynn, I'll check you later. I made a beeline right to him. Cool cat. I was like, I actually I tried to pronounce his proper name, and he just looked at me. He was like, I appreciate the effort, but stop.
Just stick with Bolo.
Yeah, he goes, I appreciate it, but you're butchering it. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Please don't kill me.
Yeah, Bolo is like completely iconic.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, all the movies he did in Japan.
Oh,
Enter the Dragon.
oh yeah, but did you see the tribute of the character that they did for him for what Warrior?
No.
Oh, you have HBO Max, right?
Yes.
You've got to check out Warrior.
Okay.
It's based on the writings of Bruce Lee.
Okay.
And his daughter Shannon went and she's like updated stuff. They did say they were doing a third season because I think it started on like Epics and they did 2 seasons, but during the pandemic, like it went over to HBO and it was just a huge hit. And they said they were doing a third season, so I'm still waiting. But one of the guys in season one, he's like he said he did everything he could. I read an interview where it was like he was trying to do like the bolo chest flex.
Yeah.
And it's like he could do it. The guy did a great job, but it was like they wouldn't use the takes for some reason. And it's like, no, you kind of have to do this.
Yeah.
But Warrior is a great story because it's the Chinese immigrants coming into California after they had done like the Intercontinental Railroad, and it's the Irish fighting against the Chinese because of like they were the discrimination against the Irish, and then there's the discrimination against the Chinese. So it was just like both of them fighting for just to be treated properly.
Right.
And it's like one of the guys, I blank on his name. We're not looking things up today.
Yeah.
But he was in Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Snake Eyes.
Yeah, I skipped that one.
It's actually not bad. That's the funny thing. I thought like the G.I. Joe movies were going to get terrible, but no, the second one was bad. But the third, this like Snake Eyes is just Snake Eyes. This is what you wanted to see.
Well, no, what you want to see is G.I. Joe, The Fall of Cobra, which is coming out very soon, written by me.
Yeah, I'm glad I set you up for that one. Yeah, so basically, though, Warrior is definitely one of those things where I highly recommend you check that one out.
Okay.
It's so worth it, especially because it was based off of Bruce Lee's writings.
Mm-hmm.
So that, to me, is like a key point because they're being faithful, and it's his daughter who's...
Yeah.
But, so and it has that Bruce Lee feel to it. I think for me, it's like, this is what Kung Fu should have been.
Right.
Because David Carradine is iconic, but he's more hang yourself in a closet, autoerotic asphyxiation. Yeah. I did get to meet him at a Chiller Theater back when Kill Bill was... the second part still hadn't come out yet, and he would not put his cigarette down.
I thought you said he wouldn't stop doing the crossword.
Oh, he was doing the crossword puzzle, but he's still holding the crossword puzzle, and he had the cigarette. So I didn't take a picture with him, but my buddies did.
Right.
And he really was just like this. He's like put his hand behind them, and I could see the cigarette still in his hand.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Michael Jai White, who was sitting like right at the table nearby. And Michael Jai White, one of the coolest cats out there. He was wearing his Spawn jersey, and I'm like, at this point, I know they're talking about another Spawn movie, but I want Michael Jai White. I really do not.
He got a bad deal with that film. It had so much potential.
Oh yeah, but you know what? They didn't capitalize on it when they did. But the thing is, it's like now it's going to be Jamie Foxx, and Jamie Foxx is extremely talented, but he's not Michael Jai White.
No, he's not.
And it's like Jamie Foxx is great in a lot of roles, but
I don't think he'll. I mean, you know what?
Spawn is.
I'll give him.
I'll give it a shot.
I'll give it a shot. I said the same thing with when I heard they were casting Heath Ledger the Joker. I was like the gay cowboy. But so you know what? And I said the same thing when they casted the sparkly vampire guy in
the Batman.
The Batman, and I was like, you know what? I'll give him a shot. So I'm not gonna say no. Absolutely not. I even gave Jared Leto a shot. I looked at it like, okay, let me see what he says, and then my suspicion was confirmed with Leto. It never should have happened.
Yeah, Leto as the Joker.
Experiment.
That was an experiment. That was a travesty.
That was a bad acid trip.
Ugh. That was just an excuse for him to just be a dick. And I mean, you know what?
You heard what he did on set, right?
Oh yeah, sending people rats in boxes and stuff, and like
used anal beads.
Yeah, it's just.
I'm sorry. If I was on set, I would have if I was casted as Batman in that film,
Oh yeah.
okay, I would have walked in on set, walked up to his trailer, walked into it and beat the shit out of him. You want to be a method actor? Here we go.
Well, and the thing is, remember, it was for Suicide Squad,
Yeah.
not even Batman.
Right,
But
but Batman was
Affleck
in it.
did have his cameo,
did.
and it would have been nice to see Affleck just punch him in the face.
Just throttle him.
Although the only thing I will say about Leto's Joker was the fact that him going and having the grill, I could respect the grill because Joker would never go to a dentist, especially because, let's face it, Batman's probably shattered his teeth numerous times. So the grill I was forgiving of. But the tattoos on his face, I'm like, he's not going to sit still long enough to get the tattoos.
I didn't like the tats. I didn't like the grill. The Joker always had this air of class around him.
Oh, yeah, he was the clown prince of crime.
So I like the tats and the grill. No.
Yeah. There were certain things I was willing to forgive, but, there were other things. And the first Suicide Squad movie was not what anyone...
It should have been.
Yeah. It had potential and was
it had a
doing
ton of potential.
okay. Then when they got halfway through, it just was like, you're a disaster.
Yeah.
But, we've got so many of these movies that we can discuss, and I really want to get into discussing the...
Speaking of disasters, let's see what January brings.
Oh, yeah, you know what? January's got a lot of movies coming out, and
Yes.
we've got things to be excited about.
Mhm.
We've got things that we're not going to be excited about. And we'll start off where I'm going to say January's movie releases. There's some interesting ones on this
Yes.
list. Now, I want to be fair and give credit where credit's due. I got the list that we're going to be using from episode to episode.
Mhm.
I pulled it up from Cinema Blend.
Okay.
So using Cinema Blend's website, we've got the list. And, today was the release of Megan.
You mean Child's Play 9?
No, because this is more like, it's a doll, but I would say this is more like we've upped the game from Annabelle, where it's a doll that doesn't move. This is the doll that's moving. Because Child's Play has done its own thing and has been doing incredible, and I really did enjoy the second season of the series. I love Mark Hamill, but I will not watch that train wreck of a movie.
Yeah.
I did a half hour and I just couldn't do it. But Megan seems to be something that I'm looking forward to checking out. I don't know if I'm willing to go to the theater to see it, though.
Saw the commercials. Doll looked creepy as hell.
Oh, yeah. It
Right.
looked like a child's
It did.
version of one of those real sex dolls.
Yeah, it did. So all you pedophiles out there.
We do not endorse
we don't
pedophilia
endorse
in any
pedophiles, but
way.
You might want to go see that film.
Yeah.
No, it looked creepy, especially like when you see the scene where like she's like her head's popped up and she's like walking on all fours. I like that's just creepy as shit.
Yeah. And then Women Talking came out, and I'm just like,
I never. No.
I've seen nothing about this. I know nothing about it. And when it comes out as a home release and streaming, depending on what I see about it, I may check it out. But it's probably going to be one of those ones that I don't watch at all.
Yeah, if I want women talking, I just have Lynn and her friend Janine come over and I hear women talking all the time. Won't be able to get a word in edgewise.
I don't know anything about it. We're not going to discuss what the movies are about if we haven't seen anything about it.
Right.
But, I'm not going to bash the movie, but because I know nothing about it.
We're not bashing. We're just saying we don't know it, so it doesn't pique our interest.
Yeah. Now, we've got other movies that are coming out later. Netflix is going to be giving us Doggone
on Friday the 13th.
Yeah, I don't know what this is, but the fact that Rob Lowe is in it makes me a little like, really? I'm not curious, but it's Netflix.
I guess he needs more money from those Nutrifast commercials or whatever the fuck he's doing.
Yeah, well, it's going to be one of those things where it's Netflix, so I'll have time to check it out if I choose to.
Right.
I will say that The Menu came out on HBO Max, and I am checking that out this weekend. That is the plan, is to watch The Menu, because I didn't see it when it went to theaters, but the concept alone just sounds interesting.
Yeah, it does.
So then we've got A Man Called Otto.
I kind of want to see that. It looks interesting.
It looks interesting, and Tom Hanks
Tom
kind of
Hanks playing a dick. I want to see
yeah,
that.
this is one of the nicest guys in Hollywood. I think the only person who could be considered the nicest person in Hollywood at this point is Ryan Reynolds, who has stolen.
He
He
took
stole
the
the
crown.
crown. Yeah,
Yep.
he took the scepter and ran with it. Probably wearing the Deadpool costume at
Probably.
that.
I would.
Yeah. So I mean, Tom Hanks, like the trailers I've seen,
It
it's
looks
like
hysterical.
I am so interested because I've been a Tom Hanks fan since the 80s, and because I will never stop watching that one episode of Family Ties. I hit Alex. When he was the drunk uncle.
I see. I thought you were going bosom buddies.
Oh, Bosom Buddies was the thing, but it was like I saw acting range from him on Family Ties, where he's the drunk uncle. He's like even trying to get drunk off of vanilla extract. It was fun, and I mean I did get to see the movie that it's like made Dungeons and Dragons look like it was horrible, Mazes and Monsters.
Never
Where
heard of it.
it's Tom Cruise. It's Tom Hanks really like sitting there as an like a mentally disturbed person who he's playing in college playing Dungeons and Dragons and gets lost in the fantasy world,
Mm-hmm.
and it's supposedly based on like a real kind of a thing, but Dungeons and Dragons never did that to anybody. So it was more one of those paranoia movies of like, the fear of like the occult and stuff. The 80s was one of them, and I feel like we get a resurgence of that all the time. Harry Potter came out and it's like it's going to lead your children to witchcraft. And now what was it? I think it was like recently Hocus Pocus 2 came out, and there was some woman who was claiming that, oh my god, no, this is bringing Satan into my home. It's like
Then change the fucking channel.
it was on Disney Plus. You clearly paid for it and your kid was watching it. So you know what? You're just looking for something to complain about at this point.
Yeah.
Now, let's go look The Devil's Conspiracy.
I haven't heard anything about it.
Neither have I. It's one of those things where it's going to be one of those horror movies that
I think it's one of those things that flies under the radar.
yeah, it might be really good, but
But it might be really bad.
yeah, it's going to be it's a 50-50 chance. So, it's kind of a toss up.
Yeah, I'm actually looking it up right now.
Yeah, sometimes we're going to have to look these things up cuz it really is just confusing when we know nothing about it.
It doesn't really say much.
Yeah.
But wait.
You found something?
This The Devil's Conspiracy, according to IMDb, it came out last year.
Really?
Too.
Or you know what? Maybe this is another one because sometimes there have been movies where one title's used and then there's very similar.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I can't really find anything about it. I mean, it has just from one picture, really can't tell.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be one of those ones that's up in the air, and when we do find out more, we can make an honest assessment. But there's been a lot of trailers for the next movie, House Party.
You know what? I'm gonna say a hard pass on that one. Because I like the first two.
Yeah, 3 jumped the shark.
The shark, but you know what? Having it like they're cleaners and they're cleaning LeBron's house. No, sorry. I just no.
There's some funny stuff in the trailer. It's got my interest peaked just to see what a modern retelling of House Party would look like. The only thing I can sit there and hope for is we get a cameo from Kid and Play.
In one of the commercials, I saw a kid.
Yeah, so but if we can get both of them in there with like doing the dance.
Well, they do the dance.
Yeah,
I saw in the clips. It's like you blink and you miss it, but you'd see them doing the dance with the leg kick and everything.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. When you look at it realistically, it was such a movie of the time back then. So to see what they're going to try to do with it now, it really is a toss up. We've got a lot of what if kind of.
I am not getting my hopes up on that film. Like I said, the original.
Oh, hang on a second, folks. No one can hear this, but I gotta stop this
Yeah.
before the music starts playing because we don't want any copyright infringements. Alexa, stop.
How did that even turn on?
It's Friday and
It's
it's the
Big Brother.
weekend. No, I have
He has Big Brother blocked.
I actually have this one like one of the little settings on there. So for Alexa to start a party time for the weekend, like
Right.
celebrate the coming into the weekend. And I forgot because we normally record a little later. So, but this year our recording schedule is going to be a little screwy.
Yep.
You know, because people don't want to respect time frame and people don't want to respect my recovery. My job. I can't say who, but I will say that it is very difficult when you're recovering from a major surgery and getting a medical hardship accommodation is difficult, and it shouldn't be as difficult as it seems to be right now.
Right.
So yeah, so that's going to be a little bit of our schedule is going to be flexible around this time, but it will give us enough time to look into other things, and hopefully we'll get a lot of responses from people as the show grows and we can lock in a real legit time. But
house party, I think I'll wait for the book.
Yeah. You'll wait for the book. You're actually going to read a book?
No, I just said I'll wait for it. I was going to read
it. I don't know if I'll go to the theater to see it. January's one of those months where the movies, it feels like they always put out movies that they're not sure of. January and February are the movies that it's like, are we sure we want to do this?
Right.
It's like, is this going to make money? Which you'll get some real surprise sleepers in there. So I never want to discount the early beginning of the year.
But I'll skip that one. Next up is
Plane,
a.k.a. Air Force One has fallen.
Yeah. I like Gerard Butler.
I do.
And
like
Mike Coulter is like I like the actors that are in there.
Mm-hmm.
This one for me is going to be when it comes to home release. There's no once it's streaming, I'll check it out, but it's not a priority.
I'll wait for it to come out too because I like Gerard Butler. I just feel him like Liam Neeson are getting locked into these characters like from the Taken. Like Liam Neeson hit it out of the park with Taken, but they made so many other ones, and now it seems like every time you see a movie with Liam Neeson, he's rescuing somebody or he's getting revenge. Same thing with Gerard Butler. Okay, he did.
There's
Olympus Has Fallen.
Yeah, there's a typecasting thing that's going in there.
I mean, the dude is funny too. He cracked me up.
Oh, Gerard Butler is hilarious in some movies where I'm just like, and he's hilarious in movies you don't expect him to be hilarious. So
I mean, I'll probably see it like you said when it streams. I just hope Gerard, if you're listening, buddy, let me take a look at those you have coming up, and I'll like yes, no, I'll help you out, buddy.
Yeah. Well, sometimes like SAG actors have to work.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying I'm not saying don't do the sure thing. This is definitely definitely a paycheck.
Oh yeah, this looks like a paycheck movie.
This is a paycheck film, but I'm like, dude, you do the paycheck film. Let me let's see what you got coming up. I'll help you out a little bit.
I mean, the funny thing is, it still doesn't even have a rating yet, too. So
it's R.
It's rated nothing because it's like no one's really going to see it until it's streaming.
It's like, do we really have to put it's Gerard Butler and terrorists take over a plane? Do we really need to put a rating on it? Although I would have to say, if I'm walking somewhere, if I'm walking through an airport and I see Gerard Butler getting on a plane, I'm leaving. I don't care where I'm going. I'll just get off. I'll take a train or walk. Same thing with Liam Neeson. If I'm walking into a place, I see Liam Neeson on a train, I'm like, "Fuck you, I'm done."
Yeah.
I'm not getting on.
If I'm getting on a plane and I see Harrison Ford,
oh no, no,
I'm rebooking my flight.
Yeah, no.
Especially because I'd be more concerned that he's going to want to fly the plane.
Yeah.
And I love Harrison as an actor, but he's getting up there, and I think the pilot license needs to go.
Yeah.
I want to keep you safe. I want you to act in more stuff. And while I'm bringing up this, how do you feel about the possibility of him being Thunderbolt Ross for the Marvel franchise?
I was actually glad you brought that up because I was going to bring it up at the end of everything, but not sure exactly how I feel about it. I mean,
Especially because him becoming Red Hulk.
you know what? You know who I thought honestly who I would have picked before Harrison Ford?
Who?
Sam Elliott. Because he did it in the Hulk film. He was Thunderbolt Ross in it was the Incredible Hulk or was it the Hulk with Eric Bana?
Ang Lee's Hulk.
Yeah, but
That was
just
Hulk.
He did. I liked him as Thunderbolt in that film. Bring him back. Let him do it again.
You know,
Because he has that look to him.
he has the look, but you know who else I would have kind of looked at? Stephen Lang.
Yes, Stephen Lang is another one. I would.
Yeah.
If Sam said no, Sam would be my number 2. I would say Harrison would be in my top 5.
Yeah.
Not sure who would be number 4, but Sam 1, Lang 2.
Yeah. Ford he's a great actor,
Mhm.
but I mean it's interesting enough that we're going to get another Indiana Jones movie, but him now in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Thunderbolt Ross and Red Hulk, yeah, it's not something I would have thought. It's not conventional.
Is it confirmed that that you will see Red Hulk?
So far, everything is pointing towards it. There's
Okay.
no 100% confirmation, but nowadays, I don't think they're willing to do a confirmation because if they don't do it, you can get sued. It was wonderful to see that a lawsuit is now being put against movies for false advertising in the trailers because you can't surprise anyone anymore with anything. It's going to get us to the point where we're not even going to have trailers.
But you know what? I mean, it's the. How many times have you seen a film? Have you seen a trailer? You get all hyped from the trailer. And then when you see the film, what you see in the trailer didn't happen.
Oh, all the time.
Oh, you know what? It's not false advertising. You're putting this out, and for some reason, okay, we had to go back and reshoot, a.k.a. this Josh Whedon Justice League. Okay? I mean, it's not false advertising. Shit happens.
Yeah.
It didn't work out. It looked great there, but when we had it in the context of the film, it didn't work out. Fine. You can't sue people. What the fuck?
Yeah, but the fact that they're suing a movie studio
Who? People? Who?
Yeah, people are suing a movie studio because they saw there was an actress in the movie that in the trailer they wanted to see. And then she got cut out.
Shit happens.
But they would never have seen the movie if they weren't following the one actress and the fact that her scene got cut. So it's like, this to me, it becomes interesting because it sets a very bizarre precedent.
It does.
And Disney, who likes to keep things close to the vest and not give a full thing. I mean, we saw like in the Avengers, like one of the last couple movies, the trailer had Hulk running with everyone and Hulk is not there in the scene. So it's one of those things where they're going to kind of start coming into issues when people can sue the studio over this. It's like, I will say there's been plenty of times, especially where I've wanted to sue to get my money back because
the movie sucked.
Yeah, there's been a few where I'm like, that's an hour and a half or 2 hours of my life I will never get back. And that was in the 90s.
Yeah.
I think it was the first movie that I really wanted my money back from, but I sat through the whole movie, so there was no way that was going to happen, was the Joel Schumacher Batman and Robin. Not even Batman Forever. The Clooney one was the one that got me, that was like, I wanted my money back. But, I mean, nowadays I can look back at it and laugh, but I will give Schumacher some credit because he did apologize, but his apology was what made me laugh even more. Because his apology was, I apologize if you went and you saw Batman Forever and you came to see Batman and Robin and didn't like it. I let the studio control things. I'm sorry, but you should have been apologizing for both of those movies.
Yes.
I mean, Jim Carrey as the
that
Riddler,
that was the only saving grace.
it really even wasn't the saving grace.
That was the only enjoyable part.
Oh, I was completely distracted throughout the entirety of the movie, and it was Jim Carrey's fault. Not because of his performance, his hair. The continuity on his hair. It was short when he was the Riddler, and then it was longer when he was Nigma. But then when they got to the end, he had that weird, bizarre coif. I'm like, this looks so wrong. It was almost as bad as Tommy Lee Jones's makeup as Two-Face.
Yeah, that was.
Because that just looked like makeup. It didn't even look like a prosthetic.
It didn't look like he got burned or anything.
It looked like they just put makeup on him. That was a movie Tommy Lee Jones did for the paycheck.
Oh.
But let's get back into this now.
Friday the 20th.
Yeah, the 20th, we're getting Fear. I've heard nothing about this, so I can't even make an assumption.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to sit there and say Fear sounds like it's going to be a horror movie. It's R-rated.
If it's not horror, it's very I'm getting suspense.
Yeah, I just
didn't they do? Wasn't there a movie?
There was a movie called Fear back in the
Mark
Wahlberg,
Reese
Witherspoon, and Alyssa Milano back in the 90s.
Yep.
That one was an interesting movie.
I liked it.
I really was like, wow, talk about toxic relationships in the earliest form.
Yeah.
And that's something that it's like, okay, I don't know if this is trying to capitalize on, like, as a remake. Like, when they don't tell us stuff, and, like, it makes me think that the studios have no faith. We're releasing it because we made it, and we don't have a choice.
Well, I guess same.
Unless they want to take a tax write-off. Yeah, and it's a tax write-off.
Yeah.
Which should not be a tax write-off.
Next up, another film
Missing,
with, I don't even know, Storm Reed. Who's that?
Yeah,
like
I have no clue.
Fifth member of the Fantastic Four?
Yeah, I know who Nina Long is.
Yeah, that's about it.
But I'm like, okay, missing the point.
Missing the point?
Missing the
trailer?
Missing this movie.
Yes, missing this movie.
This one is definitely going to be, I'm missing this one.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if I see a trailer.
If it gives me something, like, show me a trailer or give me some hope that this is something you want people to see.
Right.
Otherwise, I'm going to kind of avoid this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no, like, this isn't going to be a positive note, for at least for me. But I'm also very picky when it comes to the movies I watch.
Mm-hmm.
I watch crap.
Yeah.
And I'll admit I watch crap.
Oh, yeah.
I watch the low budget and I enjoy it. Because at least, in a low budget movie, the actors are trying. They're trying to give you a great performance. They know what they're in. But this is something where it's like, if I don't know anything, something's not sparking my interest. It doesn't spark joy.
Yeah.
So I throw it out.
Right.
And, if it doesn't spark joy, you can throw it out. That's what this is to me, because they're not showing me anything or telling me anything about this that I want to even check out.
Next one that should be thrown out is Shotgun Wedding. Now, the only thing you need to know about this, it has Jennifer Lopez in it. So we can throw it out right there.
You know what? Jennifer Lopez, Josh
All of
Duhamel.
her movies are cookie cutter.
Oh, they're
It's either she's the abused wife, girlfriend who runs away from the abuser, gets trained, fights back, and beats the crap out of him, or it's, I want to find love, but I'm getting married to this guy, and he's getting married to that one, but we love each other. No, fuck that. Enough.
You know what?
All her shit's the same.
I'm willing to give Shotgun Wedding a chance.
No.
And it's not because of Jennifer Lopez.
It's Josh Duhamel.
Yeah. Josh Duhamel is a very talented actor.
He is, but he's
I want to see if he's carrying this movie.
Oh, he will be carrying this movie.
I wish Jennifer Lopez all the best, and I want her to be happy in her new marriage.
Benifer.
But
Benifer 2.
I would prefer if maybe you stuck to singing.
I wouldn't even prefer that. I'm not a fan of her music.
But you can avoid them. You don't have to listen to the music because you just listen to the same stuff anyway. And
I had the radio on, and I was like, I don't like any of this shit. Well, seriously, in New York where we are, there's only one rock station left, and it's 105.5, and the reception in Staten Island sucks for 105.5.
Yeah.
So I have 104.3 on, which is classic rock.
Yeah, I get that. I get it a little bit when I'm at work, if I'm in the
Yeah, in
car
the
at
right
work,
spot.
but otherwise, for the most part, I'm actually listening to 101.1.
Again, yeah,
Yeah.
1011.
So I'm basically listening to classics.
Yeah.
And that's if I'm even listening to the radio, because the only Apple product I will buy is an iPod Touch. I don't want the phone. I will never buy the phone. Even if I bought the phone, it would be to use it as a damn iPod,
Mhm.
because the iPod was the shit.
Yeah, I still have an iPod.
I still have my iPod, the classic.
I have. My brother gave me his old big one.
The
Yeah, the
classic.
classic. It still works. The batteries kind of suck, so I have to have it
It's
hooked up.
always plugged in.
It's always plugged in, but it's in my car. So.
Yeah. I mean, I have my touch. It's great because it doesn't kill I don't lose the battery on my phone trying to listen to music and stuff when I was able to exercise and go to the gym. So hopefully when I'm able to get back to that, I will be going and I will be back using it. But otherwise, all my travel really does revolve around my iPod, because I will listen to what I want to listen to, because back in the day, what was it? You want to listen to the same 5 songs 15 times a day?
You turn on Z100.
Yeah, but the playlist. But there was a movie you kind of skipped. There's a movie called Distant with
Oh yes,
with
yes, yes.
Naomi Scott,
Yeah.
and I like Naomi Scott, and that would be a reason for me to check it out, because she is very talented, and I will say she was the only thing I enjoyed about the Aladdin movie.
Mm-hmm.
That live action Disney's Aladdin. Naomi Scott was, they gave Jasmine a song. They let her actually have a little more character development, and Naomi Scott did a great job. If they only would have used someone other than Will Smith,
Yeah.
I would have preferred, because him trying to be Robin Williams, it was bad. It's put your own take on it. Don't try to be Robin Williams, because no one will be Robin Williams.
I thought I didn't see the movie. I just saw the trailers and everything, and I didn't think he was trying to be Robin Williams.
Oh no, if you see some of the scenes in there, you can see where.
I thought he just my impression was I thought he was trying to be the Fresh Prince.
Oh no. He was at least entertaining as the Fresh Prince.
That was before he became Will Smith.
Well, no, he was Will Smith.
No, but
it was the early days.
He was the early
when
Smith.
He was learning how to act,
Mhm.
and it's funny because I listened to another podcast, Pod Meets World, which is a Boy Meets World rewatch show with what is it? Danielle Fitchell,
Mhm.
Ryder Strong, and Will Friedle. Yeah, and Will Friedle he pointed out in season 1 of episodes where he's mouthing along the dialogue with the people he was in the scene with. He doesn't think he's a good actor early on, but he was actually really good. He was one of the reasons why I stuck with the show, even though it was because it was I was young, I was a kid, I liked all the characters, but there was something about the character of Eric that I loved. And now it's he was lip sync, mouthing the character, other people's lines. That's the same thing Will Smith was doing in the first season of The Fresh Prince. It's interesting to know he learned everyone's lines. He took it seriously. So I give him a lot of credit for taking it seriously. But if you go back and you watch it, you can see him mouthing the lines. And he's even brought it up.
Mhm.
He's mouthing other people's lines. So you see his lips moving. So it's he's going along with it. And you're like, okay.
That's how how some people learn. You just memorize everything.
But it is an interesting thing. But nowadays, he's not as good as he was back then. But it was I think when he was younger, he was more charming. And you were willing to tolerate a little bit. When he takes a full role and envelops that character, I will say he was great in Ali.
No, yeah.
But
now the stuff he takes now, dude, look, you're not a serious actor. You're fucking Fresh Prince. Stop.
And it's you were dead. Your dead shot bothered me so much.
But how much of him as Deadshot was the writing, because that movie was horrible?
No, it was
how much it was him.
It was him. You know what? It was also the casting of him, because they didn't make Killer Croc bigger.
Yeah, they didn't. He was
Killer Croc is supposed to be 7 feet tall. It's he's supposed to be menacing and imposing. Meanwhile, when you see them walking down the street, Deadshot's taller than him. I was like, oh God, no.
how do you pronounce the actor's name um who played Killer Croc?
I don't even know. I don't actually even know who played Killer Croc.
He was in he was in
We're trying, folks. We're trying.
he was in GI Joe. He was the black guy in GI Joe.
Uh,
The
um,
only black guy in GI Joe.
Not to sound offensive or anything, but that didn't narrow it down. There were other African American actors in there because it wasn't Marlon Wayans.
I can find the other guy.
I
The one with the English accent. He was in The Mummy.
oh
You know who I'm talking about. You see his face.
I know who you're talking
Yep.
about, but I do not remember his name at all. But
Yeah.
then again, when you play Killer Croc in Suicide Squad, you have now just become completely forgettable.
But you know what? The saving grace for him is he had so much prosthetic on. You can't tell that it was him.
Yeah, that's why it's like it was saving grace,
Yes.
but it's like he wasn't bigger. It's like at least with the second Suicide Squad movie, King Shark was menacing, imposing,
King Shark is a shark.
and it was
Worked.
Stallone.
He said after playing King Shark, Stallone said he goes, I'm only gonna do shark films now.
Yeah, which I would prefer.
Now, like I know, like
You're talking
I
with the
know.
mic away from you,
Shut
so
up. I know like when they did Rocket in Guardians,
yeah.
they had a guy in the green suit. Did they do that with King Shark, or was he just 100%?
I don't know, Mr. Gunn, if you're ever listening,
Yeah,
please.
let me know, because
Yeah.
inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean that's the thing. We've gotten a lot of good stuff, and let's hit one more movie
For
that
the
we
month
can
of
talk about.
January.
Yeah, for the month of January. You people with Eddie Murphy and Jonah Hill. I'm sorry, but first off, that sounds like it's gonna be something offensive.
Yes, that's why I wanna see it.
Oh,
Because-
absolutely. I want to see if Eddie Murphy's been able to reclaim
Right.
some of what he once had.
Well, I want to see
Because Haunted Mansion was the last thing I saw him in,
Yeah,
and
it sucked.
yeah,
Basically, Eddie sold his soul to Disney, and
and not in a good way.
not in a good way. But I kept hearing rumors that he wanted to go back out on tour, do stand up again. I heard that he wanted to bring it more. He wanted to be more like Raw, which was amazing.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy is a talent.
He
He
is.
has a lot of talent, and he is extremely funny when given the right material. But
Mhm.
he's been in some movies that I will
Yeah.
Norbit.
Yes,
Ugh.
Norbit. No,
Even like what was it? I think there were two Nutty Professors.
the Nutty Professors were
the
were
the
not hysterical, but they were enjoyable.
the first one was enjoyable.
Mhm.
The second one was like really stretching it.
Yeah. He did it. He was good as a donkey.
Yeah. But
Al did donkey.
but that was good material.
right.
And let's face it, everyone was good when it came to Shrek.
Yeah.
Will I be watching Puss in Boots? No.
I'll wait for it to come out because it.
I didn't see the first one.
I didn't see the first one either, but I've just been seeing the commercials for this one, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'll wait for it to come on streaming, and I'll check it out because it looks interesting.
It could be
Because again, Antonio Banderas.
yeah.
He's a guy who, when you think of, I think action, I think Zorro, I think The Expendables 3, Desperado.
Yeah,
But then again, he could do stuff like Puss in Boots, and he has, even his voice acting, it's great comedic timing.
oh yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. It's going to be interesting, but it's Puss in Boots, and I didn't see the first one. I actually only saw Shrek 1. I never saw 2 or 3. And I don't know if there's a 4,
I don't think so.
but it just didn't interest me.
I saw it. I mean, it was interesting. It was cute, which is, it was
For
cute.
what it was.
For what it was cute. I
Yeah.
wanted to see it because I heard originally Chris Farley was Shrek,
Yeah.
and then he unfortunately passed away.
Yeah.
And not knocking Mike Myers did a great job as Shrek.
Yeah.
I heard some of Chris Farley's work as Shrek, and I was like, oh,
Yeah. Well, you know what? But you people should be
it
interesting
should
because
it has Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill is he's all over the place. You never know what you're going to get with him,
Right.
which can
Which
be
is good.
which can be really good or it can be really bad.
Yeah.
And I will say that he has this very good ability to be a great supporting actor.
Oh, Moneyball.
I can't see. I don't. He's not a lead as far as I'm concerned. Because when he's the lead, it feels something feels off.
Well, what movies?
He did that babysitter movie where he was like he was babysitting kids. It was kind of like a wannabe version of Adventures in Babysitting, but not.
Okay,
Even though there's been a second Adventures in reboot of Adventures in Babysitting. Disney, you didn't. I'm taking it you didn't know about the new version of Adventures in Babysitting. Oh, it's actually not terrible, but it is made for a younger audience. Where the '80s version with Elizabeth Shue, I love it. It's amazing. It was one of my favorite movies, and I will say, it made me love Elizabeth Shue. I didn't even see The Karate Kid before I saw Adventures in Babysitting. And Elizabeth Shue, I fell in love with Elizabeth Shue at the first moment of seeing her doing, and then he kissed me.
Mm-hmm.
Like her whole like lip syncing opening sequence, I was in love. And this new version, it's Sophia Carlson and Sabrina Carpenter. Like it's a couple of babysitters. So it's like one's a babysitter, one's not, but the kid there's like it's not bad. I watched it because I'm like I wanted to see what they did. And I mean it's younger actors doing something different. And I mean it's a younger generation.
Yeah.
So I give them a lot of credit for even attempting to bring this back. And they did a decent job with it. But sometimes it's like but there was a babysitter movie that it starred Jonah Hill. I'm like, I mean, he's good playing a second banana. I mean, the 21 Jump Street movies.
That was a great.
And him being second banana for Wolf of Wall Street.
Yes, that Wolf. Did he get an award for Wall Street?
I don't remember.
If he wasn't nominated or got an award for Best Supporting Actor,
yeah,
he got robbed.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, Jonah Hill has a lot of great ability, and for him to be side by side with Eddie Murphy, I'm so looking forward to seeing what the two of them are going to bring. And the good thing is it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
So I've gotten to the point where going to the movies, it has to be something I am dying to see.
Well, actually, I'm actually going in 2 weeks to the shameless plug Alamo Draft House, and we are seeing Goonies. Because Goonies, you have it, you've seen it, but you know what? When was the last time you saw Goonies on the big screen?
Yeah, that's very true.
I mean,
revival theaters are something that's really great nowadays because you can see like the older movies. They're not charging you an arm and a leg. Not. I mean, it's bad enough going to the movie theater and you're paying like you're paying $15-$20 just for one person.
Yeah.
So if you're going on a date, you're pretty much guaranteed to be spending like
$50.
Like $50 minimum, and that's if you hit the concession stand.
Oh, now they're doing all like these dine-in theaters, so it's not just popcorn and junk food. It's like burgers and everything else.
Yeah, and you know what? When you have that kind of food in the movie theater, I feel bad for the ushers that have to clean up the theater afterwards. Because I've been in theaters before they started doing real full food and nachos all over. And I think it was probably Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. Mm-hmm. Someone was behind me and they spilled their thing of nachos. So it was on the floor and I was like, oh, it's such a waste. And I think I've seen people like leave an entire thing of popcorn where they bought the giant one and yet they didn't even finish the whole thing and they just left it on the floor.
It's too big. You can't finish it.
The movie-going experience is something
definitely changed.
It's changed, but there's something about it that is timeless.
You get a rush out of seeing something on the big screen. You know, I mean, people now have like the 127-inch TVs,
or you got a projector at home.
And you have to surround. But you know what? unless you're one of these multimillionaires who has a legit theater in their house,
Yeah, the movie going experience.
yeah, there's some movies that you have to see in the theater. There's no two ways around it.
But there are also movies that you can completely refuse to see in the theater.
Oh yeah,
Like, they make it seem like you have to see Avatar in the theater.
no, you don't.
Why would you even want to? You need a bathroom break for this movie.
You need two.
Yeah, I remember back in the day they used to have intermissions, and it's like you kind of need to bring back the intermission,
Especially if you're watching a Peter Jackson film.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but when the movies are hitting 3 hours, it's time to give people a bathroom break at like the halfway point.
Yep.
It's like this is the whole thing. I mean, if you go back and you watch like Disney's Fantasia, there's an actual moment where it says intermission.
Yep.
So they give you a chance, get up, go to the bathroom. And I'm like, when I was a kid, I'm like, teenager, even I'd say like early 20s, being able to go to even a midnight showing. You not get up and you were good. Nowadays, I'm getting old, folks. I don't care. I need to go use the bathroom because I do not want to have to stop drinking any liquids like 2 or 3 hours before I go to the movies.
Yeah.
The movie going experience is
It's become an endurance test.
Yeah, if I really want to see it in the theaters, I will go and I will contribute to that box office. But I'm sorry, nowadays I feel like we need to go to the Spaceballs motto of
Instant cassettes.
instant home rentals.
When did this happen in a movie?
Yeah.
Now, sir, you're looking at now.
When will then be now?
Soon.
Yeah, that's the thing. It predicted the future really well.
Yeah.
And the pandemic showed us that bringing the movies to streaming at the same time, which was HBO Max's greatest thing of giving us, it's in the theater, but you can also watch it at home. I love that because I was already paying for HBO Max. So why would I go to the theater to see Wonder Woman 84? Here's the thing that all the studios need to do. Do that, but pay your actors and get the residuals and everything else. Like, you know what? When these people are getting their residual checks, it needs to be set up for streaming platforms as well.
Yes, it does.
Because streaming is no longer like this new thing. People have been streaming. The fact that Disney has it, HBO, Paramount has one, everyone's getting a damn streaming platform. It's cable with extra
we're going to
steps.
get one.
Yeah, it's cable with extra steps.
Yeah.
You know what the funny part is? What was it? I don't know if you ever read the book for Ready Player One.
I saw the movie.
You saw the movie. The one thing that was in the book that was not in the movie is because when they were all finding the keys, that they got to a certain point where they found the keys, but they were so famous, like they were showing their own things on their own pretty much channel.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, he's showing like old Godzilla movies and stuff on his channel that he has in this virtual reality experience. Now I get it. They want this metaverse, which is basically what Ready Player One had in it in the first place. But if you can do that's fucking streaming platforms early on.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, but you know what? If you're streaming, pay the actors. I'm tired of people having to worry about if they're getting paid or there's going to be a lawsuit. Although I will say one of my favorite things to watch on the Clock app happens to be that you see actors showing their residual checks and they play like they'll open one of the residual checks and show like Dante Bosco, Rufio, does one of the best things of what am I eating tonight from opening the residual checks. He picks one and he will tell you like what he can afford to eat off of that. It could be lobster. It could be something off the dollar menu. So it's one of those things where you see it and you're like, wow, it's a great inside look into like actors getting paid for things.
I have a buddy who does he does like TVs and stuff like that. You know, he was in commercials.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna drop his name because I didn't talk to him about it, but
yeah.
He's been in, commercials. He's been on TV shows, and every now and then he'll get the residual. And he posted it one time. It was for a penny.
Yeah, it cost more to write
Write the
that
damn
check
check, then yeah.
than for him to cash it.
But
But that's like that episode of Seinfeld too,
yeah.
where he was signing all these penny checks.
Speaking of actors, as we wrap up things here,
Okay.
have you heard, and what are your feelings on Stephen Amell reprising his role as Green Arrow, almost a Green Lantern, Green Arrow, Oliver Queen for the Flash series finale?
I am excited to see Stephen Amell if this works out, because too many rumors. I'm so, and it's DC, so
I think it's legit because I don't think they would drop his name and say he's coming back as Green Arrow.
Yeah, but
or say he's coming back and then say, we changed our mind. I don't think they'll do that.
no, but at the same time, I'm excited for it because the CW Arrowverse started with
Arrow.
With Arrow.
Yes.
It was the flagship that really started it all off. Flash took it and ran, where it went from the Arrowverse to the Flareverse.
Mm-hmm.
And Flash has been doing a great job with
Mhm.
things, but it's pretty much the last one of the major ones.
Yeah.
So for him to come back, I mean, I already know that Batwoman is coming back. So to have Green Arrow back should be interesting because I'm going to assume it's going to involve time travel.
Or didn't at the end of Crisis, didn't he become the Spectre?
He became the Spectre, but when the Spectre left him,
It left him?
yeah, he died. Like he was done.
I didn't.
It looked like they killed off the character. So it was like he was done. Like the Spectre he became a version of the Spectre, but
I thought he became the Spectre.
yeah, but the Spectre is one of those characters that it's like it kind of changes.
Yeah.
But it's almost like Dead Man, where it's like he jumps into different bodies. But I'm not familiar with the full extent of the Spectre, but I know the Spectre is one of the big hierarchy characters in the DC universe, at least in the comics.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know, but the thing is, when it comes to it, Stephen Amell coming back as the character of Oliver Queen, Green Arrow, it's something I'm looking forward to. I need to actually watch his show Heels.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's like, Stephen Amell, I didn't know much about him before Arrow. And then when I saw him in Arrow, I was like, this guy is great. And it made me, he was the reason why I actually went to see, in theaters, mind you, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Because him as Casey Jones, I wasn't there for Megan Fox. I was like, no, I've been there, done that, seen her in a bunch of stuff. It was seeing him as Casey Jones.
Well, it was funny when he got the part of Casey Jones, and he was like, really? He goes, the first time you see me, he goes, I'm on rollerblades with a hockey stick. He goes, just because I'm Canadian?
Yeah. And it works. But
it worked.
And I mean, come on, let's face it. The previous incarnation in live action, Elias Coates.
Liked him.
Oh, he was amazing. But it was like, I felt like the second Ninja Turtles movie, it was lacking because it didn't have him there. Although I did like the recasting of April O'Neil back then, because
yeah, I do like the second April. Her first name was Paige something. I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, she was.
I liked her a little bit better than the original April O'Neil.
There was something about her that she felt like she was a little more approachable. Like the first April felt like she had more of that standoffish personality, and they kind of like, it felt like it was a tonal shift.
Yeah.
Now,
hang on, let me just look it up.
While you're looking that up, though, I want to bring up something before, because we're trying not to go like a 2-hour show.
Yeah, Judith Hoagie.
Judith Hogue
was the first April O'Neil.
Yeah.
And if I can find her, Paige Turco was the second April O'Neil.
Yeah, I really liked Paige Turco a lot better. But then again, that's just a point of like personal preference. But it's one of those things. But I gotta bring up one thing that's coming out this month that I'm extremely looking forward to. The Last of Us on HBO Max.
Yes. Yes.
Have you played the game?
No, I have not.
The game is amazing, and when I heard in the trailer Pedro Pascal as Joel saying some of the lines that are in the game, I'm like, oh, this is in great hands, and I can't wait. And it's Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
It's like,
come on, it's Mando.
Yeah, it's it's the Mandalorian. It's not just the Mandalorian though. Pedro Pascal was the Red Viper in Game of Thrones, and we're getting another Game of Thrones alum. She's gonna who is the queen of like Bear Island. She's now going to be playing the Ellie. So that's going to be interesting because we got two people from Game of Thrones right off the bat. So this should be, and we know they're talented actors, but Pedro Pascal as Joel, and from what it looks like it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to talk about it once it's aired, and I think we might hold off. Like we may do a reaction to the first episode.
Yeah.
But we're definitely going to be talking about that because I fell behind on Willow, but I'm waiting for this weekend to watch it because a lot of stuff has come up. My sleep has been all screwed up because work has been kind of messing with my life and my sleep schedule.
Work gets in the way of doing so many other things.
Yeah, but it's not even that. It's more a matter of there's no compassion for someone who has
It's hurt.
Yeah, and it's like, when you need to be consistent with your recovery and trying to actually make sure you don't go backwards, there needs to be consistency.
Yeah,
and some people
it
just
does.
don't understand that.
And they don't care.
Yeah, but the Last of Us, I mean, the way they made the clickers look, it looks amazing. And I have to say, because I didn't continue on with The Walking Dead. I know you were watching The Walking Dead. Did you finish the series?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I gave up when what was it? What the tiger jumping across. Like that was it. Like I was done. Like I was out before they killed off
Rick?
No, the kid. His son.
Yeah, what's his name?
Carl.
Coral.
Yeah, I gave up. I gave up then because it was just.
I stuck with it for a while. I mean, I would say the first, when did Negan come in? Season 5, 6?
Yeah, that was around the time when I after Negan's arrival, and it was like the fighting back at the end of that season with the tiger and stuff. That's where I was done.
I watched it through the whole Negan arc where they did the whole war with the saviors and everything.
Yeah.
After that, when Negan kind of became a little bit of a bitch, I kind of lost interest a little bit. I picked it up again when, these are Rick's last episodes. I'm like, okay, I want to see what they do. Because they killed him in the comic book, and then that was released before he left the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do they do? And I'm like, okay, you knew he was coming back in the movie, so you know you're not going to kill him. I was okay with what they did with Rick. Then I kind of stopped for a while, but I watched the last season.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. It was a little too much fighting with the humans and not enough fighting with the zombies. And then the zombies, they were all of a sudden they were climbing walls.
Yeah,
like they were opening doors.
Yeah,
and you're like, how?
I feel like it was like they jumped the shark. When I left, I felt it was already gone past its prime. And I'm usually a completist. When it comes to watching a series, I will watch the whole thing, even if I've lost interest. But this time was one I wasn't devoting my time. There were other things to watch.
I was kind of hoping, not that I was hoping because I liked the character of Father Gabriel. Like he became a bitch in the beginning, but then he became a badass at the end. I was hoping if they decided to kill him, they would do it the way his character went out in the comic book, where he was on guard duty or whatever, and he's in like a tower, and he sees a whole horde of walkers coming toward, I think it was Alexandria or Hilltop or whatever.
One of them.
And he was like, oh shit, I gotta go tell everybody. And he kind of misjudged how close they were. So as he's scurrying down the ladder,
He's
feet.
getting devoured.
No, well, his feet got caught in like the rope ladder
Yeah.
that he was using, and he ended up falling upside down, and the horde just kind of kept on, like you see it in the panels,
Yeah.
it just kept kind of like going past him, and then once the horde all passed it, it was just his skeleton
Yeah.
hanging it, and I was like, that would be something cool to see.
Yeah.
If they had to knock him out, I would like, that's the way you want to go out, bro.
Yeah. But it was one of those things where I gave up because I was like, there were other things I was watching, and I preferred to focus on Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And which this is something that this year I'm looking forward to Doctor Who being back, 60th anniversary, and David Tennant back. And we know there's another doctor coming down, Shooty Gatwin. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with that. And that's something I'm definitely going to be looking at because it's 60th anniversary. Not only has it been around for 60 years,
Which is an accomplishment.
yeah, I mean it's had plenty of hiatuses,
Yeah,
but it's it's a British show. They do things a little differently over there.
because they're British.
But 60 years of a series, and now Disney got the rights to stream it, but they're also investing money into the production, which is to me is a big deal because when it comes to British television, it's not privately funded.
Right.
It's government funded, so they only get a certain amount of money for episodes, and Top Gear destroys every budget because of what it's Top Gear.
Mm-hmm.
The cars alone are going to cost. So they're Disney putting in money into it, and it's going to be streaming on Disney Plus. I'm like, I'm all for it.
Only thing I'm a little iffy on is taking mouse money. You take money from the mouse is gonna say, "Huh, I want you to do it this way."
Well, it'll be interesting to see if that happens because I mean, Disney's been messing around when it comes to anime, and they're buying the streaming rights. So Dragon Ball Super's rights have now been purchased, so that means it'll be exclusive, I believe, to not Disney Plus, but Hulu. And that's the thing. Hulu they got the rights for Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War arc, which means all of Bleach is available on Hulu. And I'm okay with them streaming it, but the problem is when it becomes now you're locked in with that. I feel like there needs to be more platforms that have things, and when it becomes exclusive, it's a reason to get the stuff, but it also limits the reach because not everyone can afford to pay for 18 different streaming platforms.
You might as well just stick with cable because you're paying the exact same price.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's, we're not anti like anybody having like something exclusive because exclusives are great.
Right.
But when you're forcing people to have no choice because physical media seems to be completely disappearing.
Yeah.
Who's to say, like, if I wanted to buy a Blu-ray of one of these shows that's coming out, it doesn't look like Disney's going to be putting the series for any of like the Marvel stuff on DVD.
Nope.
And I would love to own the stuff because what happens to the point when all of a sudden they no longer want to put it on,
right,
whether it's spatial or we're taking it off for a limited time because Disney, I know you remember, and I don't know if any young listeners would remember, but yeah, the Disney Vault, where things went back into the vault.
Like the version of the Goonies with the octopus.
Yep.
I haven't seen it. I've only heard about it. And when I first saw the Goonies, when Data said, "Oh, the part with the octopus was very scary," I thought he was just bullshitting.
Yeah.
Until my friend said, "Oh no, they saw it on The Wonderful World of Disney one night." I was like, "What?" And
yeah, back then when cable was early on,
it wasn't cable; it was Channel 7.
No, but with cable being early, there were multiple different cuts of movies.
Yeah.
What is it? I think there were probably like a dozen different cuts of the Toxic Avenger. It was there was the HBO cut, there's the theatrical cut, there was a USA Up All Night cut. So there are cuts for different things because of standards and practices.
Right.
So they wanted to see what they could get away with. Certain things got left on the cutting room floor. I can swear I saw the octopus version, but then I've seen it so many times that I've seen so many of the versions that don't have the octopus that I was like, oh, And I always overlook that when Data says, "Oh, the octopus was really scary."
I thought he was just bullshitting.
Yeah, and he's not.
No.
And it's one of those things where it was there, but they took it out. It's like it's not there in every version. So I don't even know if it's on the DVD version. It might be a deleted scene.
I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to.
You would have to get like the 40th anniversary special edition Blu-ray.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like now it's like so many different versions, but not being able to own physical media. I know it takes up a lot of space, but at the same time, it's the only way to guarantee that you're never going to lose.
Yeah, you're never going to lose it.
Because the streaming platforms do like to take things out of rotation.
Yep.
And the wonderful world of Disney with their Disney Vault, I mean, it was a cash cow and a half because it's like, get The Little Mermaid while it's still available because it will be leaving.
Back to the vault.
It's going back to the vault very soon.
With its dildo on the cover.
And you never saw, and you didn't see it again for like 10 years. Then it comes out again.
With extras.
With extras, but you still get the priest with the erection.
And you still get the dildo on the castle.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of seem to have kind of adjusted that nowadays, but, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, there were little things in the animation. It's like, come on. Like, it's the priest with the erection is supposed to be, it's a fold in the fabric. Big deal.
It's like looking for all these little innuendos in the Disney films. Like, listen for the hidden messages in the Beatles songs.
Yeah, it was the fun thing for the adults watching because you're making things for kids, but you know the parents are going to have to watch it too.
It's like in the Power Rangers movie when they went to go get the ninja powers, that chick in the loincloth.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you threw it in there for all the fathers who are all taking the kids. Oh, shit, look at this chick. Okay, thank you. You made my hour and a half enjoyable now.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, I mean, I was watching the movie because I'm a Power Rangers fan.
Yeah.
But I was also watching it because of Amy Jo Johnson.
That too. That was actually, Amy Jo Johnson, I would have to say, would be my second on-screen crush.
Really?
Yep.
You know, the 90s had a lot of on-screen crushes for me, but it's like Amy Jo Johnson replaced every single one of them. She became number one because it's the meme. It really is the meme. It was Amy Jo Johnson, Danielle Fitchell, and Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
See, Tiffany Amber Thiessen would be my number one.
Yeah.
My number one on-screen crush.
See, for me, it's in that order that I said because it was Amy Jo Johnson. And the thing is, I still have a thing for Amy Jo Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
She's amazing. She's a talented singer.
Yep.
Not just a great actor. She was a gymnast. And then now she's directing.
Yep.
The fact that she directed, I know at least one episode of Superman and Lois she directed. Mm-hmm. And just an ultimate talent.
Yeah, she's the triple threat.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, and I got to meet her when she was performing at the Bitter End in Manhattan, and she was singing, and I was blown away seeing her perform live.
Yep.
So it's one of those things where, you know, the childhood crushes. I think we may have to do like.
Oh, we'll do a childhood crush episode.
Oh yeah, you know that's one of the things that it's like it's down the pipe.
It's gonna happen.
Because we're gonna be talking about it because. Let's face it, we're old. And there were a lot. You're older than I am. Let's just be real on this one. So, you know, we're both Gen X. So it's one of those things where with being Gen X, we got exposed to a lot of stuff that kids nowadays aren't. So
no.
Oof, that one just hurt. Oh, stop playing with the mic. Mike, stop playing with the mic. Ugh, it hurt my ear.
That's what you get for calling me old.
Yeah, well, fuck you. That was for the joke last time. You deserve it.
I do.
So, yeah. So we're gonna wrap things up today. I mean, we've had a decent amount of time. Trying not to like go overboard because it's not a holiday special this time around.
You know, it's just us shooting the shit.
Yeah, and I mean, we've got plenty to talk about. And next time, I think we'll talk about the upcoming movies in February because there are some in February that are definitely. You would not expect them to be in February. You'd think they'd be coming out later with more studio backing. But, you know, we'll see how everything plays out at this point. We're going to enjoy going over all this stuff, and hopefully everyone out there is enjoying us. If they have any comments, they'd like to suggest something, or they would like to even tell us if they've seen some of the trailers
Yeah.
for the stuff we've talked about. You can email us at dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. All one word. Dragoon is spelled with 2 O's. dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. You can find me, Blue Dragoon 13, at Instagram. You can find me on Hive, Tribal. You can also find me on Twitch. I will hopefully be streaming if my job ever gives me an opportunity to have some time off so I can play some games. And maybe we'll even stream an episode of the show live for you guys if we can get some interest into this. You can find me on Instagram, and you can find me on the Clock app.
The clock?
The Tiki Talk, as you
the
like to call it.
No, the ticking talk.
Yeah, it's the Clock Overlords.
It is.
You definitely get lost in the time funnel going through there. And now, Mike, where can they find you?
You could find me at Facebook on. Let's try this again. Take 2. Hit me up on Facebook at Hamster Pellet Productions. I got a bunch of stuff coming up. I'm directing a short play that will be in a film, hopefully in a screenwriting festival at the Little Victory Theater. Got a couple plays coming up that I'm auditioning for, so hopefully I'll get a part, and I'll keep you guys a part of that. I got 3 films that I want to shoot, at least 3 films I want to shoot coming up this year. So follow me on Hamster Pellet Productions at Facebook.com. You can find me on The Ticking Talk, also Hamster Pellet Productions. And you got to follow me on Instagram at, you guessed it, Hamster Pellet Productions.
And if they want to email you, where can they email you at?
They can email me at, guess what, Hamster Pellet Productions at gmail.com.
That's right. We've now shilled ourselves out, I think, more than enough.
More.
And, you know what? We've got a lot to look forward to. Mm-hmm. And we'll talk to you guys more next time.
So. And hopefully you guys will talk back to us because we have at least 2 followers. And thank you, Mom.
Yeah, thank your mom because my mom's not listening.
Yeah, thank you, Mom.
At least your mom loves you.
Yeah.
Well, later, everybody.
Later.